day and night. I feel like a king, oh yeah. I'm ready, can't help but stare. Such a rush, baby. Oh, will you touch me, baby?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Brad Buckles with Viva ENT. Today we are in the studio by myself. Johnny is on the road. I think Johnny and the Bad Boys are playing. They're having a good day somewhere, and you can go to the website there to get more information on where Johnny and the Bad Boys will be playing next. But we have a really fun program today. Eric is here.
Good afternoon, Brad.
How are you?
Doing great.
I'll let you introduce your own code name, Eric.
CC Ryder.
There you go.
As Johnny and Becca like to call me.
We've got to keep some consistency here today.
Absolutely.
So today we are going to be talking about Honolulu, Hawaii, as in like the beautiful day that we're enjoying. We actually from the studio here can see the beautiful sunshine. Mm-hmm. It's almost not quite like the fall, but it's a little chipper outside if you go.
It's a beautiful day.
And we got a couple of fun things to announce. Next week we will be interviewing Dina Martin. She will be back on the air. And,
fantastic, yeah. She's almost a friend of the show coming back on again.
I know. It was one of our best interviews of the year.
And, of course, daughter of legendary singer Dean Martin.
Can't forget that.
Yeah.
Dina by herself is a beautiful, fantastically talented woman. But
she's a great singer, and she's got a lot of great stories.
But being the daughter of Dean Martin certainly doesn't help.
Yeah, that's a feather in your cap.
that definitely puts the pressure on. We also will be returning the following Thursday with a very special guest. Believe his name is DJ Fontana. Most people would recognize him as being the drummer of Elvis. You can only imagine, Eric, how excited Johnny is for that one.
Absolutely.
Actually, I'm excited. I'm not even a huge Elvis fan, and I'm excited that he's got probably more stories about rock and roll history than anybody we've interviewed yet.
Well, that's what we've done over the past few months, is just brought legend after legend after legend to the show. So
we have had a good run, haven't we?
Yeah, we absolutely have.
Which one of the interviews have been your favorite?
Oh, that's hard to say. Hal Blaine, I think, was pretty darn cool. And, of course, Stoller from Lieber and Stoller, that was pretty impressive. All these guys have just so many great stories.
Decades and decades of rock and roll.
Yeah.
So we're going to change hats a little bit right now and go to Honolulu and talk to a very good friend of mine, Jill Easley, who is, she can talk a little bit of music. She's got a big karaoke background and a beautiful voice, as I found out myself. Good afternoon, Jill.
Aloha, how are you?
I'm doing just fine. Yourself?
Good.
Eric is here with me today. He'll be talking a little bit here. I won't put you on the spot and make you sing your favorite song. But what is your favorite song? If we were if we were to start with that, what is your favorite song?
Maybe Norah Jones, Don't Know Why, or the slow version of Breaking Up Is Hard to Do.
Wow, those are a couple classics.
Yes. Well, I'm definitely a classic karaoke singer, as we call it here.
Well, you're also very classy, as a nice friend of mine as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So we always start out, kind of the fun format of our show is whether you're an Elvis fan or a Beatles fan first. It's okay to be both, but typically one person falls in the side of one more than the other. If you had to choose one, which one would you choose?
Hands down, it would be Elvis.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yes. Well, from being from Hawaii, he was very popular and famous here, of course, as everywhere else, but we love Elvis here.
Oh, I think a lot of people love Elvis, and rightly so. We were talking a little bit over the weekend, and I didn't realize this until, I think it was Saturday, but Elvis released a new song. Do you hear about that, Eric? A new copy of a new song?
This would probably be from the album that's got the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra backing him up.
Correct.
Yeah, on some vocals that he had recorded, and they put it together. I got to say, the stuff we played on the show sounds really good.
I did not know, though, that he broke a new record.
Oh,
he
yeah?
sold more records in the second week than he did the first week as a number one hit.
Oh, right on.
So Elvis is still breaking records today.
Very cool.
So, Jill, you are a event specialist, that's fair to say.
Yes.
A florist. A designer. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how all this works together in the best part of the season that we come into for like parties and Christmas parties and events?
Well, right now, we're getting ready to go into all of our Christmas decor. So we actually, in addition to doing flowers and event planning, we do all the big Christmas trees and and everything else. And our brides find this time of year, and the party people find this time of year very fun because you can bring the Christmas, I guess, flavor into your flowers and your decor without making it seem like it's over-the-top Christmas or holiday season.
Can Christmas ever be over the top?
For me, no. The more lights, the better, and especially glitter. We're covered with glitter from usually November until February.
That's kind of funny.
Which is always fun.
Never too much bling, huh?
Never, ever too much bling.
For those that have traveled to Hawaii, one of the things that's really fun this time of year is to go around to all the hotels in Waikiki, go from lobby to lobby to lobby, and look at the Christmas trees that are put up on these 1, 2, 3-story displays. How many of those are done by Easily Designs nowadays?
So we actually do all of the decor at the Trump Hotel, from the bottom lobby, the top lobby, and everything in the restaurant there. And we go grand at the Trump. The trees are just gorgeous, all the decor that you could possibly imagine. And then we also now, as of this year, are doing the Turtle Bay Resort as well. And everything's going to be beautiful over there. Plus a lot of different country clubs and several houses as well. They have us come in and they have us decorate their large trees.
I know you have a corporate account on one of the cruise lines. Are you doing anything in the cruise line this year?
This year we're not, but for the last 5 years we've done the Pride of America, which is the Norwegian cruise line. But somehow, even though we're not doing it this year, we usually get a call and they ask us to come in and supplement some of the decor because they know that we have an endless supply in our warehouse.
Eric, you won't believe this, but they literally go on the boat for like 2 to 3 days and just decorate every room, every galley. It's incredible. How many hours would you put in?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How many hours would you put in, would you say?
Well, when we do Christmas, like for the ship, it's actually just one day where we're able to load everything in. So we bring all of the trees in completely decorated because the ship will come in, dock in the morning, and then all of the passengers will go off the ship and then come back in by 5 o'clock that afternoon, and then the ship sails. So we literally have from 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning until 5 to decorate that entire ship. And the trees are just 15-footers, it's really huge. And so we decorate for 2 weeks straight at our warehouse prior to that, getting all of those trees ready so that we just wheel them on. And all the Christmas trees are on wheels with a flat plank underneath so that we can just roll it up and put it right where it needs to be.
Wow. How many different trees would go on a yacht like that, or vessel?
So on that vessel, we did maybe, I would say, 10 8-footers, 14 to 16 of the small little top trees that go on the countertops or on the tables. And then we did the galley area, or the entire area in the front, was a huge, huge 15-footer tree that we decorated from top to bottom. And then, of course, you have all your wreaths and your garland and everything else.
Wow. That must be a lot of fun.
It is fun. It's really fun. Christmas is such a wonderful time here because, we have the gorgeous weather and the trade winds, but yet, we don't have to deal with all of the snow and the bad weather. So we're able to have the best of both worlds here.
Don't rub it in. Come on, that's not fair.
I know. I'm sorry.
So you also do weddings. That's how we know each other, from the wedding industry.
Yes. For 34-plus years now, since I was 10.
Wow, that's amazing. And you've had a couple of celebrity weddings that are fun to talk about.
We have. So we actually did and made the cover of the People magazine. We did Elizabeth Smart's wedding. And then all the way up until just recently, I would say last year, we were on 2 episodes of the Oprah Network for LaToya on Top, and we did her pre-engagement over at the Trump Hotel. And so they shot that completely, and he asked her to marry him. I'm not sure if that ever went through, but it was really fun.
One of the things that's fun about working with you is not only do you do the decor and you have the talent to be able to do the floral and tie everything together, but you're also a pretty talented event coordinator.
Yeah, so when we started doing flowers, and I would sit down with the bride and groom and the couple and their family, I would ask them so many detailed questions and give them so much information that they would look at me and just say, will you just be our coordinator? We feel so comfortable with you. And after a while, back in 2006, we said, why not? You know, we've been to so many weddings. We've seen it all. We know what works, what doesn't work. And so now we put together their timeline, and they basically, when they hire us, have a designer, an overall designer for lighting and everything, and their coordinator. So it puts the entire day and the look all together really nicely.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Why don't you give everybody listening your website and how they can get in touch with you?
Sure. My company name is Easley Designs, and our website is www.easleydesigns.com.
Any other last remaining thought you want to share before we get off the air?
Hawaii is a wonderful place for destination weddings. So if you want to do something different and unique and enjoy yourself, come on down, give us a call, and we can plan everything for you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
We'll see you shortly.
Take care. Bye.
All right, we're going to go to commercials here for a moment and then come back with a very good friend of mine, a musician from Honolulu I've known my whole life.
It's frustrating when your car won't start or just won't go, or you're locked out of your car and need to be somewhere. All Day Towing will take the frustration out of the situation with 24-hour service 7 days a week. They'll tow your vehicle safely to where it needs to go. Plus, they strive to reach you within 25 minutes of your call. When you need a tow, call All Day Towing at 206-695-2615. or 425-457-7788 for Eastside customers. All Day Towing. We'll be there. We promise.
Hi, everybody. This is Johnny from Viva Productions. I want to tell you a little bit about Elite Limousine. Right now, we have prom specials for 10-passenger stretch limousines, only $90 an hour. That's right, $90 an hour with a 4-hour minimum. 206-542-5733. Go to viva-productions.com for pricing.
Life's a celebration. Grand Event Rentals makes your event their top priority. They are your full-service, special event, and party rental provider, supplying everything you need from start to finish. Their professional sales team and event staff work with you to create your dream event. With every event, Grand Event Rentals customers' needs are the most important. Whether you're planning an intimate outdoor wedding or an elaborate black tie gala, the Grand Event Rental specialists make great pride in providing our event planning experience to help create an unforgettable event. Please go and visit the Bellevue showroom, Grand Event Rentals, or make a one-on-one appointment. Talk to them. They're trained, they're knowledgeable, they're event specialists, and they are going to take you through step-by-step everything that you need to make your day a success. Call Grand Event Rentals. Their number is 425-462-7368, or go to grandeventrentalslaw.com.
Attention business owners. Experience a new world of business with barter. The Saturn Barter Company, located in Tacoma, is one of the most beneficial business decisions you can make. Using Saturn Barter, you are able to sell your products or services to other members of the exchange. You can then use that credit you've built up from your sales to purchase the products or services you or your company needs from other companies within Saturn Barter, all without the use of cash. Contact and join Saturn Barter Club today, 253-212-9930, or online at SaturnBarter.com.
Is your vehicle needing some attention? Take it over to Maddie's Tuning and Shoreline for fast, affordable car care. Trusted, professional. Maddie's services all makes and models and has been trusted in the Puget Sound for almost 60 years. Call Brian Maddie at 206-364-3347 or stop by his convenient location in Shoreline right on Aurora at 152nd. Maddie's Tuning. Call 206-364-3347. Trusted for almost 60 years to keep you safe and on the road.
Brides, do you want your big day to be stress-free, perfect, and stay within your budget? Well, Brides Club has all the inside information to make your dream a reality. Go to bridesclub.com. That's bridesclub.com. See upcoming bridal shows and events, view wedding vendors and special offers. And don't miss The Spotlight, the premier online wedding magazine with valuable articles you can't afford to miss. Brides Club helps make your wedding stress-free and perfect. Go to bridesclub.com. Check out bridesclub.com.
Life's a celebration. Grand Event Rentals makes your event their top priority. They are your full-service, special event, and party rental provider, supplying everything you need from start to finish. Their professional sales team and event staff work with you to create your dream event. With every event, Grand Event Rentals customers' needs are the most important. Whether you're planning an intimate outdoor wedding or an elaborate black tie gala, the Grand Event Rental specialists make great pride in providing our event planning experience to help create an unforgettable event. Please go and visit the Bellevue showroom, Grand Event Rentals, or make a one-on-one appointment. Talk to them. They're trained, they're knowledgeable, they're event specialists, and they are going to take you through step-by-step everything that you need to make your day a success. Call Grand Event Rentals. Their number is 425-462-7368, or go to grandeventrentalslaw.com.
Proud to bring variety to your radio dial. Alternative Talk, 1150 AM.
I see your rainbow, it's in your eyes, so beautiful, it's paradise. I hear your voice calling out to me, it's whispering, so heavenly.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are back live with Viva ENT. This is Brad Buckles, and of course, my co-host today, Eric.
CC Ryder.
Eric's in the house.
Good afternoon, Brad.
And probably one of the nicest gentlemen you'll ever meet, a very good friend of mine and direct live from Honolulu right now, our guest today, Ben Vegas. Aloha.
Hey, Brad. Aloha, and Eric. How you guys doing over there?
We're doing good.
We've got probably the sunniest day we've had so far this fall.
Well, over in Hawaii, it's raining right now. Well, it's starting to rain, and so I'm very, very jealous at this particular time. It's like a reversal of roles.
It'll be the only time this year. For our listeners who don't know Ben Vegas has been playing music and writing tunes and performing in groups all over Honolulu, in fact, all over the world. Most people know Ben Vegas because of a very popular act. He's been involved in 505. He's been involved in a very fun group called The Crush, which I'll let him explain. And he performs all over the state of Hawaii right now as Ben and Mila. And Ben, I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, I've been doing this for quite a while. It's been a great run, and it's a passion of mine, playing music and getting to play with all these different talented musicians and performers. It's just been wonderful. And in 1972, when I actually moved from Hawaii to the mainland, I learned so much about music and was influenced so much by different artists, and that's all I wanted to do, just play music. It was in every pore of my body.
I don't know that you know this, but I know that you moved to Dallas. What made you choose Dallas from Hawaii?
Well, I moved to Dallas, Texas, in 1972, and actually I had an opportunity. I was there before that, and a gentleman by the name of Tony Cadron, who was a big promoter back then, he wanted me to play with a couple of his big acts that he had, like country, more on the country flavor side. And so I decided, it was a great opportunity to get over there and just kind of start off my musical career and learn try to be a sponge, basically, and absorb as much as I could. So I moved over there thinking that would be a great opportunity, and then I was commuting back and forth between there, Nashville, and Atlanta, doing some studio work. So that was kind of fun for me too.
Now, just so that I can brag about you a little bit, you've also played with some pretty big performers here.
Yes, I have.
I know that you played with Tina Turner, you played with Olivia Newton-John. Probably my favorite story is one you shared with me a long time ago about Ray Charles.
Yeah, I played with Ray Charles. Actually, one of the best memories I have was in Shreveport when we were doing a concert at Shreveport, Louisiana, and we were rehearsing. And on one of the numbers, he kind of stopped the whole band, and it was a full-on orchestra with strings and horns and everything. He stopped the whole orchestra and to pick out one of the string players, and I believe there was like 8 of them all together playing. And he said, "One of you are out of tune." And he told, so they checked their strings, and sure enough, one person, their violin was just a little bit off, which us average Joes would probably never hear, but that made me realize that, man, this guy has some skills.
That's incredible. So what's part of the fun part of our show here is we talk a lot about music history. My partner Johnny is out on the road today. He plays with Johnny and the Bad Boys, and very, very popular guitarist here in the area. He is a massive Elvis fan, and of course I am always the Beatles fan. And we go back and forth and share a lot of fun memories. A lot of the show is based on these stories and these individuals that we'll be interviewing and talking with. If I had to ask you if you were an Elvis fan or a Beatles fan first, which way would it go?
Man, you got me between a rock and a hard place because they're both very influential to my musical career. Elvis, just charisma alone was just amazing. I mean, he just was something else. Just to see the way that he performed, the music, that the influence of it. And then, of course, he's dealing with the Beatles. That's 4 against 1. That's not fair.
True. Now, if I remember correctly, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if I remember correctly, you shared with me a story about meeting Elvis.
Yes, I was. When we were in Hawaii here, I was playing at a hotel called the Kahala Hilton back then, a very popular place, actually, where a lot of movie stars and a lot of people would actually come and stay there. It was kind of away from Waikiki. Anyway, one day I was heading into I was working over there with a band, and in one of the lounges there, and I had to go upstairs to go get something, and so I got in the elevator. When I got in the elevator, I saw one of my friends who happened to be his bodyguard. Thought nothing about it. His name was Mike Stone. And when I got in there, I realized it was a guy that was kind of facing away from the door. And when I looked, it was Elvis. And Mike introduced me to Elvis, and I was just dumbfounded. I'm like, wow. Of all places to meet Elvis in an elevator. I mean, I've heard about listening to elevator music, but to see the king of rock and roll
must have been a fun experience.
Yeah, you couldn't talk me down off of a tree after that because I was just so happy to have met him.
So tell me a little bit. I'm going to put you on the spot because you probably don't want to talk a whole lot about this without being asked, but you've got 5 number 1 hits in Hawaii. That's incredible.
Yeah, I really don't I don't know. I love music, and you never know with music what's going to hit or miss. You have an idea of what you want to do and how you want to present it, and I never thought I never did music to win awards or anything like that. I did music because I loved it. It's a passion for me. So when you get recognized for writing something, and then of course they played on the radio, and it's they're calling you up and saying this song just went to number 1. I'm like overwhelmed and humbled by it because I never thought in all my musical career that would be something it's just a bonus reward to be recognized for doing something that people like, and so it's very humbling and it's just a real blessing for me.
It's interesting you say that. Week after week, we've talked to a whole bunch of musicians and performers that have had number one hits and have been lucky enough in their career to experience it. And they define that almost the exact same way that you just did every week. Eric, isn't it amazing how it's almost the same vocabulary, the same emotion? They record something and all of a sudden they're like, who knew? But then all of a sudden we get this phone call and it's number one.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Brad, what we don't realize is, when, like in any aspect, it doesn't necessarily even have to be music. When it's just something that's a passion of yours, and when you decide this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, and you think nothing about it but just that's just your first goal. It's that little brass ring that you keep an eye on, and that's all that you see. You become like like those horses with blinders. That's all you see. This one goal. And that's all you want to do. And then when you get recognized for it, it's just, wow. I mean, it's like a cake. I'm like, wow, this is icing on the cake and a bag of chips on top of that. So you're just so humbled by it. You don't know. Sometimes I don't know even how to react when people come up to me because, I'm sometimes lost for words when it comes to when they start, complimenting you and stuff like that. I don't take compliments very easily because it's just, I get nervous about it because I'm like going, I'm not that worthy.
Well, you are. You've been a dear friend of mine my whole life. I remember the first time we actually had a chance to perform together. I think I was 10 years old. We were doing Christmas concerts. Yeah, that goes way back. And I remember meeting Ben Vegas and thinking like, wow, that's what I want to be someday. That's cool.
Well, I mean, look at your life, Brad. You've touched so many people's lives in so many different ways. I mean, I'm sure a lot of your listeners don't even realize the depth of what that you do. Of course, me knowing you for all these years, you've got such an ability to reach so many people, and that's a gift.
Well, I appreciate it.
And again, it's what we do with that gift. It's not for ourselves, but it's for us to share with everyone else around us. That's what's going to make it special.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And, of course, my biggest passion and my real joy is helping small businesses succeed. So when somebody sits down with me like a florist, we had Jill Easley on a little bit earlier, and they say, this is what we want to do and this is where we want to go, and this is my first year in business, help me get there. 10, 15 years later, they're still in business. You'd like to think you had a little bit to do with that. It's a pretty exciting time period.
Absolutely. I mean, you just never know. You will never know how you touch a person. You just never know. I remember, one time I shared something with this one young man. This is way, way back. And about 20 years later, he comes up to me, he goes, you said this to me. And he said, that changed my whole life. I'm like, it did? You just don't know. You just don't know.
Well, I was 10. You don't remember that probably. I think we were playing in the ballrooms over at the Sheraton or the Royal Hawaiian. I don't remember which ballroom now, but we did a bunch of Christmas concerts, and it certainly left a huge impact in my life.
I'm just so blessed to hear that because, it's just, that's all that to me, what I'm about is how can I affect and touch another person's life. There's nothing, there's no agenda for myself, but rather to just see what can I do, not what I can't do, but what can I do to maybe speak. They may never know my name, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. But if I made them laugh, I made them think, and they remember something, then hey, that's great.
Well, you've certainly done that. If I can read through a little bit here, I did a little research. I didn't even know some of this stuff myself, but I didn't realize that you've played in over 67 different countries. Yeah. 5 number one hits, starting with 505. Why don't you tell our listeners what 505 was and what that was all about?
That was we had a 5-piece band. I was a lead singer for 505. I comprised of some really top-notch musicians here in the island. In fact, I consider myself the weakest one of them as far as musically, but there was just a chemistry there. And though we only did one CD, it made a great impact. And when the band got disbanded, we had so many people wanting it to get back together and do these reunion concerts and stuff, and unfortunately we weren't able to because a couple of the guys are moved on to the mainland, and so, to connect. But that was a really, really wonderful, wonderful opportunity to play in a band situation.
And then, of course, the Crush.
Really cool.
The Crush came out next.
Yeah, the Crush was before 505, actually.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And yeah, so I joined the Crush in 1982, and when I finally moved back from the mainland, and I stopped playing music for about a year just to take a break because I was just getting so burnt out from traveling on the road for so many years. So I decided to spend some time with, especially with my parents, just reconnect back home with friends and family. And so about a year later, I joined up with that group. It was more of a show band, and it was a fun band because we played all types of different instruments and did all types of, from Broadway shows to, big hits that some of these artists come up with. And so it was a cool thing. And also, we also did, costume changes and stuff. And so it was kind of cool, a variety type of show. So, I've had an opportunity to do quite a bit of cool stuff in my life.
Yes, you have. And then, of course, you have a big announcement now. We got about a minute left before we break away again. But you want to announce to everybody what's happening next week?
Yeah, well, tomorrow night we have a big, huge CD release party. Myself, my partner, and I, Mila Gibson, we perform as Ben and Mila. We are going to be playing for about 1,400 people coming up for our CD and plus our CD release.
Just signed a deal with Columbia?
Signed up with Capitol Records, and that was a great opportunity to do something. Now it's worldwide distribution, and we've got a great team behind us handling all the worldwide stuff. So we are going worldwide now, so that's so exciting for us.
I am absolutely excited to be a part of that. Thank you so much for coming this afternoon and sharing some of this with us. Give us your website where all our visitors can go listen and download some of that music.
Yeah, you can go to Ben and Mila. It's spelled BENDMAILA.com.
Ben and Mila.
Or you can go on Ben and Mila Facebook. And if you want, you can go text LUV to 51555. Get a free download from our brand new CD, and you can get different merchandise and stuff if you're interested in that, and you can get our pre-ordered CD if you are interested in that.
So text LOVE to 51555.
51555.
51555. Well, thank you very much this afternoon, Ben. I'm so grateful that you had a chance to come and visit with us here on this warm day here in Seattle.
Frederick, thank you so much for your time, and I'm just kind of envious that you guys are in some sunny weather.
Well, we'll bring some of that back over.
All right, buddy. You guys take care now, and I hope to see you real soon.
Aloha.
Aloha.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Viva ENT Radio, and we have Jerry Osborne, legendary rock and roll historian and friend of the show, on the show today, and he is going to be talking to Matt Lucas. So everybody stay tuned.
Hi everybody, this is Johnny from Viva Productions. I want to tell you a little bit about Vegas nights. Forget about Vegas. I brought casino tables to the Emerald City. Craps, blackjack, roulette, poker. If you're planning a private party, corporate party, senior grad party, any kind of party, you want casino tables, you call 206-542-5733. Vegas nights, that's right, shake, rattle, and roll.
Brides, do you want your big day to be stress-free, perfect, and stay within your budget? Well, Brides Club has all the inside information to make your dream a reality. Go to bridesclub.com, that's bridesclub.com. See upcoming bridal shows and events, view wedding vendors and special offers. And don't miss The Spotlight, the premier online wedding magazine with valuable articles you can't afford to miss. Brides Club helps make your wedding stress-free and perfect. Go to bridesclub.com. Check out bridesclub.com.
Attention business owners. Experience a new world of business with barter. The Saturn Barter Company, located in Tacoma, is one of the most beneficial business decisions you can make. Using Saturn Barter, you are able to sell your products or services to other members of the exchange. You can then use that credit you've built up from your sales to purchase the products or services you or your company needs from other companies within Saturn Barter, all without the use of cash. Contact and join Saturn Barter Club today, 253-212-9930, or online at SaturnBarter.com.
Is your vehicle needing some attention? Take it over to Maddie's Tuning and Shoreline for fast, affordable car care. Trusted, professional. Maddie's services all makes and models and has been trusted in the Puget Sound for almost 60 years. Call Brian Maddie at 206-364-3347 or stop by his convenient location in Shoreline right on Aurora at 152nd. Maddie's Tuning. Call 206-364-3347. Trusted for almost 60 years to keep you safe and on the road. It's frustrating when your car won't start or just won't go, or you're locked out of your car and need to be somewhere. All Day Towing will take the frustration out of the situation with 24-hour service 7 days a week. They'll tow your vehicle safely to where it needs to go. Plus, they strive to reach you within 25 minutes of your call. When you need a tow, call All Day Towing at 206-695-2615. or 425-457-7788 for Eastside customers. All Day Towing. We'll be there. We promise.
Life's a celebration. Grand Event Rentals makes your event their top priority. They are your full-service, special event, and party rental provider, supplying everything you need from start to finish. Their professional sales team and event staff work with you to create your dream event. With every event, Grand Event Rentals customers' needs are the most important. Whether you're planning an intimate outdoor wedding or an elaborate black tie gala, the Grand Event Rentals specialists make great pride in providing our event planning experience to help create an unforgettable event. Please go and visit the Bellevue showroom, Grand Event Rentals, or make a one-on-one appointment. Talk to them. They're trained, they're knowledgeable, they're event specialists, and they are going to take you through step-by-step everything that you need to make your day a success. Call Grand Event Rentals. Their number is 425-462-7368, or go to grandeventrentalslaw.com.
News, traffic, and weather? Now you can get your information fixed weekdays on Alternative Talk, 1150 a.m.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and welcome back to Viva ENT. I am Brad Buckles, your host this afternoon. As if we're not having a hot enough day outside, we are about ready to get super hot here in the studio. We've got our good friend of the station, Jerry Osborne, with us, rock historian. Good afternoon.
Hello, Eric and Brad.
And, of course, Eric.
Back on.
I got to introduce Eric. I forgot that.
Yeah, Eric C.C. Ryder.
He's responsible for everything here in the studio.
And Jerry Osborne, of course, friend of the show and rock and roll historian, as you said. And Jerry's brought on a special guest with us today. And, Jerry, can you tell us a little bit about your guest?
Well, I certainly can. First, I'd like to say it's always a pleasure to have guests on the show, and we have one every week. But it's extra good when you have one of your best friends as a guest, and that's the case with Matt. He's been to my home quite a few times, and we've gone out to dinner on several occasions and just sat around and listened to music a time or two. So I'm really happy to have him on the show today. Matt, say hello to the folks. This is a natural-born Memphis citizen right here, a real, authentic rockabilly cat.
Hi, everybody. How you doing out there? Man, let's rock and roll.
I just love the sound of your voice. Just that makes me want to get up and move around.
Well, you know, a lot of people were moving around in the 60s to the sound of his voice with his huge hit record, I'm Moving On, and he also had what I think is one of the most original versions of Maybelline that you're ever going to hear. I mean, you've heard it by many people, I'm sure, but his version on Dot in late 1963, I guess it was. But anyway, it's so different than anything else you've ever heard, and I recommend you go to YouTube and play it.
I will do that.
So, Matt, here you are, kid in Memphis, teenager, in fact. And how were you influenced by living in that golden city at that time?
Well, you could just feel the blues on your skin, man. It's just everything was happening. Rock and roll was just starting. I mean, there was Fats, there was BB, there was the WDIA radio. It was just such an exciting time. No one knew how long it would last. I didn't. I certainly didn't, because I started off in music as a jazz musician, as a drummer, and I stayed with jazz for quite some time. And after moving back from to Memphis from Los Angeles, I moved to L.A. in '53, and I was really turned on with all the R&B music. You know, the Clyde McPhatter, the Drifters, and Faye Adams, and Johnny Otis, and all the doo-wop groups, the vocal groups back there, and of course the rhythm and blues thing. So I loved that music, and then when I came back to Memphis, it was just starting to happen. So I got a job playing drums at some of the studios, Fernwood and Son, and Roland Jane's studio, which was Sonic Studios on Madison in Memphis. So it's just a really exciting time, just marvelous. I wish I could do it again, because although people talk about it, you had to be there, man. It was really, really something to experience.
Was there any outlet there for R&B other than WDIA?
No, there wasn't. There was one other radio station in town, had a disc jockey by the name of Nat Kane Cole, not King Cole, but Kane Cole, down on Beale Street. They had one a radio station there that did very good locally also. But WDIA, of course, was the big 50,000 water, and it was back then it was called the Voice of the American Negro. It was a real powerhouse. My friend Rufus Thomas and of course, BB started off on WDIA and had a show called the Hadacol Boogie Show, where he was advertising Hadacol, which was a vitamin. And, of course, the vitamin also had some alcohol in it. So
well, that's the
a lot of
cool
people
part.
could dance around after they drink some Hadacol.
Yeah.
So I've got a question for you. I'm a little bit younger. I've been around when the rap movement came in. I was here when the 80s, made their statement. But I've always looked back at classic rock and roll of being like the all-time incredible thing that I missed. What was it like when this music started hitting the scene, and you're there and you're starting to feel it and now actually get a part of it? Like what's the feeling that goes through your mind now that you reflect back on that?
Well, it was just overwhelming to be a part of that. I mean, you grow up. I mean, here's Elvis, and here's Sonny Burgess, and here's Jerry Lee Lewis, and Norval Phelps, and Sonny Burgess, and some Roland James, J.M. Van Eaton. It was overwhelming, and the radio at that time was so different. Like 1962, even a lot of black radio stations would not play white music, and white stations, of course, wouldn't play black music. So
which just blows my mind. I can't even imagine a time period like that in today's,
It was
world.
very difficult for me because I love blues. I've always loved blues, and I've always loved jazz, and I just hated. I cut a record one time. I was playing on the back of a Norval Phelps session. And Norval, who's one of the greatest cats in the world, man, is such a talent. He's still out there kicking around. He's just fantastic.
We're going to get him on the show.
One of the greatest voices of the world. But anyway, I'm playing on a session at Roland Jane's studio, and at the end of the session, Norval said, "Matt's got this song he's made up," and he said they stampede to the dance floor. So, Roland, why don't you give it a listen? And he said, "Okay." So I'm playing drums. And they put a boom mic over, and I started singing the song, and I was singing, "Why do the baby? Why shake it, please, Daddy?" and playing drums at the same time. And so Roland flipped, everybody flipped out, and I only took about 2 cuts on that thing. Well, Roland thought, "Man, this thing is really something. This thing is red hot. We're going to do something out with it." So he put it out on this very small label called Renee Records. And the records, back in those days, you could cut a session, pardon me, and you cut a session, go to the record pressing plant in Memphis, and meet the same day, and they'd be pressing records. You go down to Sam Phillips because Roland didn't have an acetate cutter, so Sam cut the master on the thing. We'd take it immediately to a radio station, and you get the thing played if they like the record. And it's just so totally different than it is. I don't have a clue what they're doing now with the internet and everything.
Yeah, it's all digital and all that.
Changed. It was so exciting. just unbelievable exciting.
So what, you walk it into the radio station and basically beg for the DJ to give it some airtime?
I took it to some radio stations, and they said, "I'm sorry, Matt, it's really a different thing. I don't really know what to make of it, but we can't play that music, Matt. That you sound too black." And to be honest with you, Jerry, they didn't use that word.
Well, yes, of course, we get that, but that's what they meant, and you absolutely did. I mean, let's face it, I was in radio at the time when that came out in 1963, and we played, of course, then Motown and all the pop stuff, so it didn't matter to us what color you were, but I thought that this is another black singer, and he's really done an interesting and novel version of what I always thought of as the Hank Snow song, I'm Moving On. Well, brother, you didn't carry over much from what Hank did. Most of your lyrics are your own, and a lot of them are what I would just call spontaneous. And I need you to tell me what is making the sound, if not your mouth, of the railroad train sound.
Well, you just sound exactly like me. That's what it was. It was my mouth, doing the train sound on it, and like I say, we only took a couple of cuts on it. I got tired of it being ran out of radio stations, and then Roland, I think, pressed like 500 records or something, whatever the amount was back then, sent them out, and we started getting from radio stations, the program directors, it's a hit. I said, well, that's great, man, but it was the other side. It's a song I wrote called My Heavenly Angel.
Yeah, good ballad.
So we wanted to get the I'm Moving On played, so Roland and I got this idea. We're going to go get a rubber stamp made with a red ink pad, and it said, it's different, it's a hit by Matt Lucas, I'm Moving On. And they kept running me out of radio stations, and sometimes I'd take my pad and my rubber stamp with me, and I'd go in the bathroom, and I would stamp even the toilet paper. So they couldn't get away from Matt Lucas.
You got to do what you got to do.
That's right. Then I went to WDIA, and Rufus Thomas, a wonderful guy and a great talent, man. He's on Beale Street right now. There's the statue and everything in the Hall of Fame. He's just a wonderful guy. Carla Thomas's father. He said, "Man, how come your own people won't play your record?" I said, "Rufus, man, I got to tell you." They said I can't play that kind of music on the station. That black music. It's just too wild and crazy. So Rufus says, "Hand me that record, man." So I handed him the record. And, man, he played the record. He said, "Baby, you got soul, and you're going to make the big time." He said, "I'm going to send you down to Nashville to see John R., Big Hugh Baby, Herman Gizzard, or Randy's Record Shop at WLAC, the most powerful radio station, most powerful rhythm and blues show in the United States." So he sent me down there, man. I had about 200 records in the back of my little Renault Caravelle sports car, and I was sleeping in that car. I was so broke, and I went down to WLAC, the tallest building in Nashville at the time, and went up, and I met John R. I thought all these cats are black cats, but, man, they were all white.
And here's this blonde guy with the blue eyes.
Yeah, man, and one of them was one of the original Jordanaires, I flipped out, and Elvis fired him because he couldn't handle his drinking problem at the time. But oh boy, was that something else? I was on his show, and he says, "Matt, baby, we gotta get you going." Said, "You gotta go to Atlanta." I said, "Atlanta?" I was getting 40 miles a gallon on my little Renault car, man. So I took off to Atlanta. He said, "You got to go to WJOK Radio on Piedmont, Atlanta. You tell them John R. sent you. You tell them Rufus Thomas sent you." So I hopped in the little car, man. And I went out. I was so broke, man. I knocked on the door of that radio station on Peachtree in Atlanta, Georgia, WAOK. The janitor came and said, "What do you want?" I said, "Well, I'm John R. sent me." He didn't have a clue who John R. was. He said, "Just a minute." So a DJ by the name of Bob McKee was on the air. This is an all-black radio station. The program director was Zena Sears, the guy that was invented the stroll with Chuck Willis. He was Chuck Willis's manager. And Dr. Feelgood, Piano Red. Anyway, they let me in, and the Bob McKee, the same story. He said, "Let me hear the record," and he played it for 4 hours. He couldn't believe it. I'm there, I'm crying, man. Back then DJs played their own music. They've had a 45 on each turntable. So after about the fourth time he played it, the phone the thing was lighting up, the board was lighting up, and he said, look, I said, I'm going to call someone in Chicago. And he called Charlie Fash, the president of Smash Records, the division of Mercury Records in Chicago, and put the phone down by the speaker. And Charlie says, I got to have that guy. I got to have that black boy. And he said, well, he's not black, but he's got blonde hair. And he said, well, I got to have him, man. So next thing I know, I'm back in Memphis, and I'm getting my teeth capped at Elvis's dentist with smoke pouring out of my mouth look like Pittsburgh. And then I'm on airplanes, and away I go, man. So I couldn't believe it, Here I was playing drums with Narvel and Charlie Rich and Anita Wood and Roy Orbison and Narvel and, working all those honky-tonks down in southeast Missouri, southern Illinois, over in Kentucky. And now here I'm on airplanes I flew into Detroit. I had a #1 black record in Detroit.
Was that your first airplane trip?
Was that my first? No, I was on a small plane before, but that was my first big time. It was a prop jet. They didn't have the pure jets that I know of.
I just wanted, right now, Matt, I'm looking at the WQAM Fabulous 56 survey for the week ending May 4th, 1963, and song number 8 on the top 10 is I'm Moving On by Matt with 1 T, Lucas with 2 C's.
I'll be doggone. Well, man,
there you are in the top 10 in Miami.
Anyway, I go into Detroit, and here I am, working the record hops and everything, and it's FM radio was just starting to take off them also. So at record hops, we draw maybe 3,000 mostly black kids. It's Detroit. So here I am, and well, those that don't know me, I'm quite a blonde guy, but they love me. They just love my music. And back then, when most people were lip singing to their songs, I would sing with my song. And so they just love that because I'm an honest guy, and so they just loved it. And next thing I know, the record sold 50,000 copies in Detroit. So I thought, wow, this is just fantastic. So come back down to Memphis again. My next thing was Ooby Dooby, which was a great song by, it's Roy Orbison's first hit, and I played drums with Roy, so I thought, well, hey, I'm going to cut this tune. And then I had the same problem again with the same problem that I did with some of the other stuff. But to make sort of a longer story short, I after bouncing around Memphis and then going back on the road with Narvel and I finally, when I was in Detroit, I met a guy. His name was Ollie McLaughlin, and he had Barbara Lewis, who had a big hit called "Hello Stranger" at the time. And Ollie was originally from Mississippi, but man, he sounded exactly like he was from New York City. And he was also he started off as a disc jockey, but became a record producer. He did very good. He's the guy who discovered Del Shannon and Barbara Lewis and Johnny May Matthews and the Capitals. You remember Cool Chook?
Sure.
And
gentlemen, I'm sorry to interrupt. We've only got about 90 seconds here.
He says, you got it, baby. He says, I want you to walk around downtown here on Woodward Avenue and get this feel of Detroit. I want you to really, and write me a tune about it. I said, we're going to put a record out about Detroit. Well, I walked around, man. I came up with this idea about the Motor City, and the lyrics to the song was, I can't remember the song right now. I'd have to sing it. I can't remember.
Well, Matt, let's do this. Let's bring you back another time here when we can get back into this. Now that you've warmed up and you've stopped being so shy, we can bring you back maybe for another week. We so much appreciate this. This is the best part of the program, is just to listen to everybody and their stories.
Well, you are a wealth of information, and you lived it all firsthand, and that's what we love.
Well, I tell you, I've been so lucky, and I've never done anything really the correct way according to what other people have done. But even recently, I just signed a deal this week with a brand new record company in Miami. And they're trying to bring back the Detroit sound and of course, the Miami sound, which was the big sound for a long time, called Overton Records.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Very cool. Well, we are going to leave today with a little bit of Matt Lucas doing I'm Moving On. Viva ENT Radio. Be sure and tune in every Thursday at 3 o'clock.
One of these days, son, it won't be long. You're going to look for Matt Lucas. Matt Lucas be gone. I want to move. I got to move. You flying much too high when you give in the eye. I wanna move on. Give in the eye. I wanna move on. Give in the eye. I wanna move on.